Welcome to Golden Memories. I'm Barbara. Here, we revisit the lives of cherished icons whose moments continue to shine through time. Their talent, warmth, and dedication left a lasting impression on audiences everywhere. Join us as we celebrate their journeys across film, music, and culture, honoring memories that remain timeless and forever inspiring. Charlie Lane Johnson. Charlie Johnson, born November 22, 1938, was a rare figure who successfully bridged professional sports and academia. A standout quarterback at New Mexico State Aggies, he developed the composure, intelligence, and discipline that would define his long career. Over 15 seasons in the National Football League, he played for the St. Louis Cardinals, Houston Oilers, and Denver Broncos, earning respect not for flash alone, but for steady leadership, precise passing, and calm decision-making under pressure. Throughout his career, Johnson stood out for his ability to read the game with clarity and guide his teams with consistency. Coaches and teammates often valued his quiet confidence, especially in tightly contested moments where control mattered more than spectacle. His style of play reflected a thoughtful approach to the game, built on preparation and understanding rather than impulse. After retiring from football, Johnson made an uncommon and inspiring transition into academia, becoming a professor of chemical engineering. This shift highlighted his intellectual depth and lifelong commitment to learning. In his later years, he lived away from the spotlight, remembered for both his athletic achievements and academic contributions. Johnson passed away at the age of 85, leaving behind a legacy defined by reinvention, discipline, and excellence across two very different worlds. Christos Yanaras was one of modern Greece's most distinctive intellectual voices, known for bringing philosophy and Eastern Orthodox theology into a deeply personal, contemporary dialogue. Born in Athens, he developed into a thinker who often challenged both religious formalism and modern secular assumptions, always searching for a more authentic understanding of human existence, freedom, and faith. Over his career, he wrote more than 50 books translated into multiple languages, engaging readers beyond Greece. His work explored personhood, love, freedom, and community, drawing from ancient Greek philosophy and Orthodox tradition, often blending rigorous thought with existential concern and philosophical anthropology within contemporary thought. As a professor of philosophy at Panteion University in Athens, he influenced generations of students with provocative ideas that encouraged dialogue rather than easy answers. He remained intellectually active throughout his life, continuing to write and participate in public discussion well into his later years. He died at the age of 89. Widely confirmed details about the exact cause of death have not been publicly reported. His legacy continues through his writings, which remain influential in discussions of faith, identity, and what it means to be human, shaping modern Orthodox philosophical discourse internationally in Greece and abroad today. Davey Lopes is remembered as one of baseball's most intelligent and dynamic players, admired for the way he changed how speed and strategy were used on the field. Born on May 3, 1945, in East Providence, he grew up in a modest environment where discipline and hard work shaped his outlook on life. Baseball quickly became his passion, and even though he wasn't initially seen as a standout prospect, his persistence carried him forward. He made his major league debut with the Los Angeles Dodgers in 1972 after joining the organization in 1968, and soon established himself as one of the most dangerous base runners of his era. His quick decisions, sharp reading of pitchers, and aggressive running style made him a constant threat, finishing his career with more than 500 stolen bases. As part of a strong Dodgers infield unit of the 1970s, he contributed to a period of consistent success and became a key figure in the team's identity. After retiring in 1987, he continued to shape the game as a coach, guiding younger players and sharing his understanding of baseball. He also faced health challenges later in life, including Parkinson's disease, and passed away at the age of 80. His legacy remains tied to intelligence, resilience, and the craft of base running. Elwood Edwards Jr. is best remembered as the voice that defined the early internet experience for millions of people. Born on November 6, 1949, he became widely known not through on-screen appearances, but through a handful of simple recorded phrases for America Online, including the iconic, "You've got mail." That short line went on to become one of the most recognizable sounds of the digital age, instantly signaling connection and communication in homes around the world. Edwards began his career in broadcasting as a teenager in 1964, first exploring radio before moving into television work, mostly in technical and behind-the-scenes roles. He spent much of his professional life at WKYC in Cleveland, where he built a steady career away from the spotlight. He retired in 2016 after decades in the industry. His unexpected rise to cultural recognition came in 1989, when he was suggested for a voice recording project tied to early software development. For a modest fee, he recorded several lines from his home using simple equipment, never imagining how widely they would be used or remembered. Over time, his voice became part of pop culture, later appearing in projects such as The Simpsons, late-night television segments, and commercial campaigns. Edwards passed away one day before his 75th birthday. No official cause of death has been publicly shared. His voice remains a lasting reminder of a simpler, formative era of the internet. Van Hammer lived a career shaped by discipline, performance, and the changing world of professional wrestling, eventually becoming a recognizable figure in the 1990s wrestling boom. Born on November 1, 1959, in Hebron, he later served in the United States Navy, an experience that built the structure, strength, and resilience he carried into his later pursuits. After his service, he trained under respected wrestling mentors such as Boris Malenko and Dan Spivey, steadily developing a larger-than-life persona that combined athletic power with entertainment flair. In 1991, he debuted in World Championship Wrestling and quickly stood out with a rock-inspired character, gaining attention for his energy and memorable presence in matches against names like Mick Foley. As wrestling styles shifted, he reinvented himself by joining Raven's flock under Scott Levy, embracing a darker storyline that reflected the era's evolving tone. Though his career continued to move through highs and quieter phases. Over time, he stepped back from the spotlight, with later appearances becoming less frequent. Despite ups and downs, fans still remember Van Hammer for his individuality, presence, and role in a distinctive era of wrestling history that valued character as much as competition. Jim Carrey was born on January 17, 1962, in Newmarket, Ontario, into a family where humor often served as both relief and refuge. His father, Percy, worked multiple jobs over the years, including accounting and music, carrying a quiet mix of practicality and creativity that deeply influenced his son. His mother, Kathleen, dealt with ongoing health struggles, and the household often revolved around managing uncertainty with whatever lightness could be found in daily life. When financial hardship hit, the family's stability changed dramatically, and they experienced a period of displacement that left a lasting imprint on young Jim. Living in a camper van for a time while trying to stay afloat shaped his early understanding of insecurity and resilience. School life became difficult, not only because of circumstances at home, but because of the emotional weight he carried into every classroom. Rather than retreating inward, he began performing early, using humor as a way to soften discomfort, connect with others, and momentarily transform difficult situations into something bearable. At just 14, he began working long shifts in a factory after school, entering adult environments far earlier than most of his peers. That experience, combined with the pressures at home, created a sense of urgency in him. Comedy wasn't just an interest. It became a survival language, a way to make sense of a world that often felt unstable and demanding. First steps toward comedy and leaving home. By his mid-teens, Jim Carrey had already committed himself to performance with a seriousness that left little room for conventional adolescence. He dropped out of school at 16, not out of rebellion alone, but because his focus had shifted entirely toward making a life through comedy. He began performing in small clubs, where audiences were unpredictable and opportunities were limited, but where he could test the boundaries of his physical and emotional expressiveness. Encouraged by his father, who believed deeply in his talent, he continued to pursue stages that offered little comfort but valuable experience. Eventually, he made the decision to move to Los Angeles with very little money and a strong sense of direction that others often mistook for naivete. The early years in Hollywood were defined by struggle, auditions that led nowhere, small rooms where attention was scarce, and long stretches of uncertainty. Yet during this time, he developed a powerful internal habit: visualization. He famously imagined a future version of himself succeeding on a massive scale, even writing down a symbolic check for $10 million as a personal reminder of what he was aiming toward. While life around him remained difficult, this mental discipline helped him stay committed to a path that offered no guarantees, but demanded full belief. Breakthrough and rise in Hollywood. The turning point in Jim Carrey's career came with television, where he joined the cast of a groundbreaking sketch comedy series that allowed him to fully explore his physical, high-energy comedic style. His performances were unlike anything audiences had regularly seen on television at the time: bold, exaggerated, and completely committed. He created characters that felt larger than life, pushing his body and voice to extremes that became instantly recognizable. This visibility opened the door to film opportunities, and by the early 1990s, he transitioned into movies with remarkable speed. The year 1994 became a defining moment in his career, as he starred in multiple major comedy films that each achieved significant commercial success. These roles established him as one of the most bankable comedic actors in Hollywood almost overnight. His style, rooted in physical transformation, expressive facial movement, and fearless improvisation, redefined what comedic leading men could look like in mainstream cinema. Audiences were drawn not only to the humor, but to the unpredictability he brought to every performance. In a single year, he moved from rising talent to global phenomenon, reshaping expectations for comedic film actors and solidifying his place in entertainment history. Fame, pressure, and identity strain. With rapid success came equally rapid pressure. As Jim Carrey's fame expanded, so did expectations from studios, audiences, and the entertainment industry at large. He was no longer just performing roles. He was embodying a brand of comedy that people expected to see, repeated and amplified. This created a unique tension between artistic freedom and commercial demand. His performances became more intense, often requiring complete immersion in characters that blurred the line between acting and lived experience. One of his most famous dramatic roles involved portraying a real-life comedian known for his unconventional and immersive approach to performance. And during production, Carrey remained in character for extended periods. While this dedication earned critical praise, it also revealed the emotional cost of sustaining such intensity. Off-screen, the constant visibility of fame began to weigh heavily. Interviews from this period show a growing interest in questions of identity, reality, and self-perception. He often reflected on the idea that the public version of him might not fully align with who he felt he was internally. The larger his public persona became, the more complicated his private sense of self seemed to grow, creating a quiet but persistent internal conflict. Personal life and inner emotional landscape. Beyond his career, Jim Carrey's personal life was shaped by both connection and difficulty. He experienced relationships that brought moments of stability, but also revealed the challenges of maintaining intimacy within a life defined by constant movement and public attention. He became a father in the late 1980s, and that role remained one of the most meaningful anchors in his life. Despite the demands of fame, he often expressed deep affection and responsibility toward his daughter, describing fatherhood as a grounding force amid the instability of Hollywood. At the same time, he openly acknowledged experiencing periods of emotional difficulty and reflection. He spoke about moments of emptiness that accompanied success, where external achievement did not always translate into internal fulfillment. The loss of his father in the mid-1990s added another layer of emotional complexity, as the person who had believed in his early dreams did not live to see the full extent of his success. These experiences contributed to a growing awareness within him that achievement and identity were not always aligned, and that emotional well-being required something deeper than professional validation. Artistic evolution and philosophical shift. As his career progressed, Jim Carrey gradually expanded beyond traditional acting into other forms of creative expression. Painting became an important outlet, allowing him to explore emotion in a way that was not tied to performance or audience expectation. His artwork often reflected bold energy and abstract emotional themes, signaling a shift in how he engaged with creativity. During this period, he also began speaking more openly about ideas related to ego, identity, and perception. He suggested that much of what people consider to be the self is shaped by external expectations and internal narratives rather than fixed reality. These reflections were not presented as definitive answers, but as ongoing questions he was personally exploring. Over time, he stepped back from constant blockbuster roles and embraced a slower, more selective approach to acting. This shift was less about retreat and more about reevaluation, an attempt to understand what creativity meant outside of constant performance and public validation. His perspective became increasingly philosophical, focusing on presence, awareness, and the nature of happiness beyond achievement. Loss, grief, and personal transformation. In 2015, Jim Carrey experienced a deeply personal loss with the passing of his partner, an event that profoundly affected him and marked a turning point in his emotional journey. The grief that followed was private but significant, prompting reflection on love, impermanence, and the fragility of human connection. Rather than becoming defined by public narratives, he chose to process the experience internally while acknowledging its impact on his outlook. This period intensified themes he had already been exploring: how quickly life can change, and how external success offers little protection from personal loss. In interviews following this time, he spoke with increased openness about the importance of presence and emotional honesty, emphasizing that material achievements cannot replace meaningful human relationships. The experience deepened his understanding of grief, not as something to overcome, but as something that reshapes perspective. It also reinforced a recurring idea in his life: that identity is not fixed, and that meaning often emerges through change, even when that change is painful or unexpected. Legacy and understanding the self. Jim Carrey's journey reflects a life shaped by contrast, extraordinary public success, alongside deeply personal reflection. From early struggles in Canada to becoming one of the most recognizable comedic figures in the world, his path has been defined by transformation at every stage. Yet beyond fame, his later years reveal a continued search for understanding, of identity, purpose, and emotional truth. His work in comedy remains influential, not only for its originality and physical brilliance, but for how it expanded the possibilities of performance. At the same time, his philosophical reflections and artistic exploration suggest a person constantly questioning the nature of self and fulfillment. Rather than offering a single conclusion, his life story illustrates an ongoing process of change. It shows how a person can move through success, loss, creativity, and introspection without arriving at simple answers. In the end, his journey is less about a final definition of who he is, and more about the evolving question he has continued to explore: what remains when performance ends, and what it means to simply be present within that uncertainty.